Ooh.
Hill Kings podcast.
Woof.
Welcome.
Ooh.
Welcome to the show. Do you like my hat?
Hey, nephews. Yes, I do like your hat.
You love
That
it?
American ostrich farm merch, baby.
We did order hats. Did you order one too?
I haven't ordered my hat yet, but
You gotta
Dr.
get on it, bro.
Dr. H. Ardon, aka my brother Kyle, from last episode.
Bruh.
Thanks for coming on. His came.
It
He's
came.
mighty excited about it.
Yeah. Not my favorite, like, quality hat, I will say.
Yeah, I like
It feels
the
a
base
little
color.
small for my head, but I do love the color and I do love the logo, so I'm with it. Everyone go check out American Ostrich Farm, our future
.com.
sponsor. And they will be hearing from
AmericanOstrichFarm.com
us. And use code HILL
Bruh.
in the notes section when you check out.
Yes,
Give it a try.
yes. Make
Let
sure
us know
you
if it works.
tell them that we sent you and order some meat. And this is the Hill Kings podcast, right?
It is. We're
It
back.
is. We're here.
Mm-hmm.
It is Daddy's Day.
It is
on
Father's
the
Day.
day of recording, and you're a daddy, and it's your first time having a day of your very own. Do you feel special?
Yes. I feel loved and appreciated by my family.
Wow.
Mostly just feel, bummed about work on Monday. It's Sunday.
Yeah,
Back to work on Monday. Weekends
typically
in
happens
general.
after Sunday. Yeah, famously. Yeah, Sunday, Monday.
You know me. I hate Mondays, just like a certain
Yeah.
cat who will come up in this episode.
Really?
He comes up at the end. Remind me to bring him up.
Okay. What episode are we talking about this
We're
week?
talking about the episode that Garfield the cat will be lightly referenced in is season 2, episode 15, 3 Days of Kahndo.
Oh,
This was an interesting one. It was
weird
pretty
episode.
Mm-hmm.
Weird episode. But good.
Yeah. It was good, but it was a little out of left field. I will agree. And we'll
Yeah.
definitely get into it. But before we get all
We'll
the way
deep dive
into
it.
it, yeah. You
Should
gonna
we
take
talk
us
about
back?
Yeah, let's talk about what was going on this
Mhm.
week in Arlen. Sheesh. This episode aired on February 15th, 1998, the day after Valentine's Day. Brother, we
Mhm.
had a Saturday Valentine.
Ooh, wow.
Do you think Friday at school you were handing out a little Valentine to your little crush?
To my best crush, Joseph.
Yeah. Yeah, we got the Valentine's episode
Yeah.
last week. The
I
mono
remember
episode.
mono.
Yeah. Seems like it would have been a better, well, I guess Valentine's Day was like upcoming
It's
the
yeah.
prior week. You don't want to
Mhm.
post a Valentine episode after Valentine's.
No.
But this did air on Sunday, February 15th. We always like to kick them off with a look at the TV guide. Anything stand out to you here, my friend? We have the Olympics.
I mean, it's Olympics time. Looking forward to the Olympics this year in Paris. I've noticed that we've switched ABC up now. They've usually run 2 movies, but we're doing some Motown stuff tonight on ABC.
I guess it was the 40th anniversary of Motown.
Okay.
Motown Records,
I was
Mr.
gonna say.
Barry Gordy.
Okay,
Very
so they're running like
predatory.
a
Motown. Stealing, scamming.
yeah,
Good
the
music, though.
good music, the legal structure of the music industry at that time and still today.
Very much still today, yeah.
Very
It's not good.
very much not good for artists.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, let's see what else. World's Funniest. I'm probably watching the World's Funniest back to back. Truckers is on again, Channel 5.
Truck crash. What the
Truck.
fuck?
It's new. It's a new truck crash.
Yeah, what's going on with All Right Already this week? Again with
Again.
the astronaut.
Again with the astronaut.
I'm always so curious to know like what the episode could be about. Like,
If I would have one guess, I would say astronauts.
yeah, but it's again with the astronaut. Like, is this a recurring character in the show that's an astronaut and he's back, or is it just like this
Okay.
episode happens to have an astronaut character in it,
Well,
you know?
the last time we talked about All Right Already in depth was to talk about our girl Carol and her writing work with the show. And I think
Yes.
All Right, or again with the hockey player, didn't you say
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
characters was dating a hockey player?
Yeah, maybe a character is just dating an astronaut, but how is that again with that? I guess we're gonna have to ask
Who
Carol about
knows?
it when she's on the podcast because I can't find this show anywhere. So we'll have
Did
to
I say?
check with her.
Yeah,
Is it Cheryl? It's
it is
Cheryl.
Cheryl. It is Cheryl. Yes.
Sorry, Cheryl.
Sorry.
Um,
Wow, look at
but
us.
we'll ask her about it. Moving on, though, you can see that there is a new episode of The Simpsons this week. This is a pretty
Mm-hmm.
good Simpsons episode. This one stood out to me. I
Bus
remembered it very
bus.
well from when I was a kid. It is a parody of Lord of the Flies.
Nice.
So the premise of the episode is the kids are all going to like a model UN thing together, like a field trip situation, and their
Uh-huh.
bus flips over a bridge into the water and they wash up on an island
Oh my gosh.
and try to build their own society, but end up like all there's like infighting and like
Mm-hmm.
someone eats all the food and then they
Yep.
think there's a monster and it turns out to be a pig. And meanwhile, Homer is trying to
Classic.
start an internet business and like
Nice.
compete with Bill Gates.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a pretty decent episode for this era of The Simpsons.
Nice. It sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, I did watch it last night. It does hold up.
Nice. Good
And
Simpsons
then
alert.
keeping with the theme of the TV guide, we had a movie called The Garbage Picking Field Goal Kicking Philadelphia Phenomenon.
I saw that on the TV guide, but didn't bring it up because I was like, what
Yes.
is this Disney all about? But tell me about it.
It does star Tony Danza, and
Whoa,
it
what?
it is about a middle-aged sanitation worker
Hey, I laugh
who
at Tony Danza.
becomes I laugh at Tony Danza.
I laugh at Tony Danza.
Shout out to Kane Skretterberg.
So we got Trash Man Tony Danza.
Yeah, Trash Man Danza becomes a kicker for the Philadelphia Eagles. I
Hmm.
believe this is based on an actual thing that the Eagles did in like the 70s or the 80s where they
Yeah.
had open tryouts for anyone
Hmm.
to be on the team. And there's a famous episode of Always Sunny in
Yes.
Philadelphia based
Hmm.
on this exact premise as well.
Yes.
And also him being a sanitation worker and Charlie, there just seems like so many overlaps, but it was like a kids movie, I guess. It was like a Disney.
Interesting.
Tony Danza, I believe, was in a porn when he was younger.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't research that far into the Tony Danza
Yeah,
lore.
there's like a whole thing where like his dick, I guess he's got a big old hammer on him.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Tony the Hammer Danza.
And
You're
I laugh at
surprised he
Tony
could be a
Danza.
kicker with that
He
thing.
just swings that hammer, brother. But probably I think maybe my favorite episode of Always Sunny. That's
It's
the
a pretty
one
fun
that's
one.
like the
The
introduction
Green
of
Man.
Green Man.
Mhm.
Frank does acid and also like doses Charlie with
Yep.
acid, just like pours a bunch of acid in his beer, and the
Yes.
McPoyles are in it,
Yep.
and D like pretending to be a man, and so
Uh-huh.
good. And
It's
D
a
like
very good app.
becomes a kicker.
Hmm.
So I'd be interested to see like what overlaps there are between this movie. Probably not going to watch it because
No.
it's a made-for-TV Disney movie from the 90s, but hey,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah. I
what are
would
you gonna
definitely
do?
watch that Always Sunny app again, though.
Yeah, I'll just go watch that instead.
Yeah, that's probably sounds like a better idea.
Keeping with the TV guide, though, moving her forward on the Winter Olympics on this night. If you were
Hmm.
watching, probably earlier in the day, uh, both the men's and women's Canadian curling teams won the
Ooh.
gold medal on this day. The medal match in curling,
Mm.
both men's and women's, just dominating. Canada, we
Hmm.
dominate a lot of winter sports, like,
Actually, I
but
don't think you guys have gotten a gold in curling since.
yes, we have.
I don't know.
No, I guarantee you that we have. We definitely
Listeners,
have.
we got him. We got
Multiple
him.
times. You didn't get me
We
because
got
that
him.
is objectively false, and you didn't have me going
We
for a
got him,
second.
nephews.
So
We got him, nephews.
you really didn't. You really
He
didn't.
came to Canada's defense so
Well, I did
He
because
was
it's
because
true. It's correct.
you're on guard for the
Oh yeah, I do be standing on guard, True patriot love, you know.
Oh.
And I
Nice.
do love
Congratulations on
curling.
your curling.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's
We did
exciting
not
to watch.
I love it's so fun. It's one of my favorite things to watch during the Winter Olympics.
It's great when you see it on at like a bar. You're like,
Oh
oh
yeah.
shit, yeah, curling's on.
Yeah, it should be more popular in this country.
Mhm.
More people should try it because it's also just very fun to play.
We do seem like a very rock throwing culture, America. You
Yeah.
think we'd be better at throwing rocks around, but
Yeah, I mean the US team is pretty good when it comes to curling, but just
okay.
not quite to the level of
Yeah.
Canada, you know. Maybe
Classic
you'll get there
America.
someday. You'll get there someday, bud. Moving on. I
Yeah.
found a website that actually shows me the
Ooh.
Billboard chart.
Okay.
Billboard's website has kind of a way back machine situation. So instead of just
Fun.
showing you the number one song of the week,
Ooh.
I can show you as many as I want. And I just pulled the top five here. So
Wow, nice.
Nice and Slow, we talked about
We talked
last
about
week, I
that.
believe.
Mhm.
This is the second week at number one for Ursher.
Nice.
Janet Jackson bumped down to number two. She was at number one before. Her peak
Hmm.
position was
Yeah,
number one.
we talked about that.
Yep. 9 weeks on the chart for the Janet record. That was pretty solid.
Hmm.
And then Leanne Rhymes, she came up in the episode with the Bois podcast. There was a
Yeah.
made-for-TV movie starring her and about her life.
Oh yeah.
And I think this may have been from like the soundtrack to that movie, or she just also
Interesting.
released an album around the same time.
Huh.
And then Truly, Madly, Deeply by Savage Garden.
Yep.
I believe we
S-
also talked about that.
Yes, that still gets plays today. I just heard it a couple days ago.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then some Puff Daddy,
Some Puff Daddy
topical for
with
nowadays.
B.I.G.
That motherfucker's going to prison, I think.
Uh-huh.
Have you been following anything with the P. Diddy situation?
Not too closely.
Yeah.
It's a little more frustrating than I want to read into.
Yeah, he's
I
a real
think.
piece of shit. That's all you
Yeah.
really need to know there. But
Yeah.
yeah, music charts
What were we saying
were
about the
bopping.
industry and being
Yeah,
placed for
generally
British?
kind of, yeah. People like him kind of thrive, I think. Bad guys,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
But some good music, I guess. Biggie was on it. That's
Hmm.
cool. Moving forward.
Nice. Oh,
Titanic was still the number one movie in the country, but
yes.
Wedding Singer came out
Yes,
on Friday,
dude.
my dude. I
Nice.
actually watched this like a few days ago, like last week.
Oh
It was
yeah.
just like on TV after I was
Hmm.
watching a hockey
It's
game, and I was like, I'll put on The Wedding Singer. Love this movie.
yeah, it still gets reruns on Sunday, on weekends and stuff. I'll catch it on in hotels frequently too.
Oh yeah, it's peak Sandler though. One of his
Yeah.
last true greats, I would say.
I think he's still making some good stuffs.
Today,
He's making what he wants, all right?
Uncut Gems was great.
Yeah,
Uncut
Uncut
Gems.
Gems is he's making what he wants. He's putting his friends on.
Yeah, he's having fun. I
He
like
might need to
that.
stop putting Rob Schneider in as much stuff, but
Yeah, that guy's a piece of talk about pieces of shit, dude. uh, but yeah, Wedding Singer came out, peaked at
nice.
number two in
Oh,
the movies. At number three, though, there was a movie called Sphere, starring Dustin
mm,
Hoffman, Sharon Stone, and Sam Jackson. And as you can
okay.
see here, there's some real bad practical effects and CGI, and also it did get a 13% on
When
Rotten Tomatoes.
psychologist Norman Goodman, played by Dustin Hoffman, wrote a report for the government on how to deal with extraterrestrial life forces, he didn't expect his recommendations to be used. Now that a secret government agency is investigating what may be an alien spaceship that has been discovered partially buried on the floor of the Pacific Ocean, Norman finds that the plan he outlined is being put into effect and that the team he named in his report has been assembled.
Whoa, assemble the team.
Whoa.
You
Assemble the
think
team.
Sharon Stone shows her bush in this one too?
The spear. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why the score is so low because she either did or didn't. Who knows?
Oh yeah, everyone saw
That's
Basic Instinct and they were
that was a little
expecting a little
crass of
bush.
me. Sorry. Sorry to Sharon Stone.
We love you, Share Bear.
And any female listeners offended by that.
Nah, there's
Uh,
no women watching this
have
show.
you seen this?
No, but I did show this to Marette beforehand, and she remembered this movie
Interesting.
being like hilariously bad. So I kind of want to watch it.
I like Sam Jackson on the cover, dude. Look at like a young, still young Sam Jackson.
Yeah, this would have been like pretty
And
early in his
clean,
career. We did
not super
cover
old Sam Jackson.
Jackie Brown
Hmm.
in a recent This Week in Arlen, which was the first Tarantino movie and one of the first like notable Sam Jackson movies. I think Jurassic Park might have been his first big, but that was like a really small role.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
he's starting to pick it up here
Sam Jackson alert.
in the big studio films with a real banger. Sphere.
Sphere.
Moving on. It was Chris Farley's birthday, and this was
R.I.P.
the first birthday that we celebrated after Chris Farley's tragic passing. He died in December of 97, and this was the first B-Day for the Farrell. Down the hatch. Love this man.
Indeed. Yeah. Very funny. Hilarious,
It was
hilarious
also
individual.
Jaromir Jagr's 26th birthday
Pardon me?
of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yaromir sounds like a Lord of the Rings name.
It
That's
kind
a
of does, but
that's a Tolkien name.
he is Czech.
Mm. Nice, dude.
Jager.
He has
Yeah.
long hair too.
He had the mullet going in the
Hell yeah.
90s. This was my favorite player in the 90s. I've got his fucking tarp in the closet, bud.
Oh yeah.
Number 68, you know.
Damn, he's just one number away from being cool.
I know. And also Dale
Hell yeah, dude.
Earnhardt won
Hell,
his first and only Daytona 500.
Praise hail. Praise
Yeah.
Dale.
Yep. And he won it on this day.
I didn't realize he'd only won one.
Yeah, I learned that in this research. I'm not a NASCAR guy, but are does his like son race cars?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yes.
that one of his kids right there
That's
that is like
Junior.
now a NASCAR racer?
I don't know that much about their family history to know if that's Junior or not. Uh,
Interesting.
I don't think so. I don't know.
Well,
Nephews,
yeah.
NASCAR nephews, chime in. Let
You
us
got
know
any
the Dale
NASCAR
lore.
fans out there? Let us know. Rounding it out, on this day as well, a radio station, well, earlier, a couple days prior, actually,
Uh-huh.
a radio station in Las Vegas offered Monica Lewinsky $5 million for an
Whoa.
exclusive interview, and she turned that shit down like a boss.
Wow.
Yeah, that poor woman,
Yeah.
you know? But
That was
also, like, 5 milli, dude?
5 milli. And if you're media trained enough, like you could probably maybe get through the interview without purging too much stuff, although that was probably a good legal strategy. I bet you most lawyers would
Yeah.
tell you don't go on a radio show when you have pending cases.
Yeah, especially like a Las Vegas, like, I
Hmm.
assume it'd probably be kind of skeezy.
So, Monica, is this the dress?
Whoa.
Exactly. So
But good for her for
if
turning
you
it
have
down.
pending legal cases, definitely don't come on our show.
Yeah. Yeah, we do tell all of our guests
Hmm.
that before they come on. Definitely don't do this.
Hmm.
But that'll do it. For this week in Arlen, let's get into this fucking episode, dude. 3 days of the
Into it, man.
Kahndo.
3 days of the Kahndo. Let's go. Yeah. Season 2, episode 15, airing 2/15/98. Your blurb for this episode is Hank, Dale, and Kahn are stuck in Mexico after Kahn cheats a condo owner out of money. As a result, the Arlenians have to sneak across the Rio Grande back into Texas.
Yep.
Pretty tame blurb for everything that's going to go on in this
I know.
episode.
There's some really fucked up shit that happens
It's
in this
it's a it's a
episode.
it's a wild one. We chatted about this. My initial score was lower. My score went up. It's kind of a chaotic episode. Kind of comes from out of left field, but it's definitely very fun. It's surprising, I
Kind of
think.
comes from out of left field, yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna come.
Yes, exactly. Um, Directors on this are going to be Wes Archer, and then we have Lauren MacMullen directing this episode.
Ooh.
Lauren MacMullen. I believe she directed 2 episodes of King of the Hill. This one, and then I think she directs the first episode in episode 3. Her history, at least according to IMDb, is very much art department focused.
Mm.
Animator, timing specialist. She's got a lot of credits in the art department and some big projects too. So she's a storyboard artist for some pretty big name films out there in animation right now. You would maybe know Zootopia. I don't know if you're a Zootopia boy.
Mm. I don't think I've ever
Uh,
seen
uh,
it, but I know of it.
it's cute. It's kind of propaganda, but it's good. It's cute.
Yeah, that's
It's
why I don't. That's why I didn't
mhm.
fucking watch it, dude.
Wreck-It Ralph, very good. She's
Oh,
a
I like Wreck-It Ralph.
storyboard artist for that, and then she's also a storyboard artist for 2 seasons of the Disney Avatar show.
There's.
Um,
Oh, wait.
yeah,
What?
the Avatar, the Disney Channel, the cartoon.
Avatar, like
Avatar: The Last Airbender, bro.
that shit wasn't Disney, brother. That was Nickelodeon.
Oh, was it? Shit, my bad. You're right. You're right.
Shit,
Ah,
brother.
damn.
Come on.
That was a test. That was a test.
Fuck are you doing, man?
He's on guard. He's on guard for thee. Keeping him on his toes out here. You're right.
Yeah,
Nickelodeon. My bad.
yeah,
But
yeah. It's okay. It's okay. All
yeah.
right.
So
It's
Lauren
we'll
McMullen.
get past it. We'll get
Mhm.
past it.
She's prolific in art departments. And then
Love it.
your writers on this are going to be Judge Daniels with Hardwick editing. And then other 2 writers on this are another pair. This is going to be John Altschuler and Dave Krinsky. They are a duo that form the Altschuler Krasinski works, and they pretty much always work in tandem. Their histories are very much repeated on IMDb, but their EPs or producers or co-EPs on at least 142 episodes of King of the Hill, so they're
Mm.
pretty heavily involved. They've got writing credits on 9 episodes of King of the Hill. Other big notable projects, Brad, you'll know this one. They're Silicon Valley producers and
Ah,
writers.
which was also a Mike Judge joint.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, Altschuler and Krasinski are in a lot of big projects. They're also involved in that new project, the Freak Brothers, that our directors from last episode were involved in. Um,
Freak Brothers.
yeah, I'd have to
Is
look
that
back
the
into it.
Blake from Workaholics? Is he in that?
Yeah, I think so. Um, so they're still working hard, still
Oh
very
yeah, and like Pete Davidson is in it. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Our 2, I think their last names were Dylan. I don't know. I'd have to go find my notes.
Huh.
Got a goldfish
Interesting.
memory these days.
I will say, Krinsky came up a lot. There is a character commentary on the
Mm-hmm.
DVD of Dale, Bill, and Kahn doing commentary the whole time. So it's Johnny
Interesting.
Hardwick and Stephen Root, and they are like barely like it's very obvious they don't have any like vocal like direction going on because they
Mm-hmm.
barely sound like their own characters in the
Interesting.
commentary, but they're like trying to act like the characters. And Stephen Root is also doing Dale and Kahn at the same time. And holy shit,
Impressive.
I couldn't even get through it.
Impressive.
It was so
Oh,
bad.
really?
Yeah,
That bad?
it was so awful.
Interesting.
It felt very like half-assed, and they were also just like they spent like 5 minutes talking about like Min and Peggy's asses and then just like kind of pointing shit out in the episode.
Very
It felt like
interesting.
it was something where it was like, all right, you guys just need to come down and like sit here and do this for the DVD. And they
Yeah.
didn't put any thought into it. I turned it off probably like a little over a quarter of the way into the episode because I was like, this is unwatchable. So
Damn.
yeah. Was hoping for more on that, but
Okay. Interesting
yeah.
note. Yeah. That was, these first seasons, DVD as a format was not going to be too far behind these
Yeah.
first seasons, I think. And so that definitely I could see something where they're like, this is the new thing. You got to have all this extra content.
Yeah.
Could have been contractual. Who knows? Interesting that it wasn't very watchable, but I could see how it would end up not watchable.
Yeah, it was bad.
Those 2 directors I was just thinking of for the Freak Brothers, that's Alan Cohen and Alan Friedland. That's who it was.
Mm,
So yeah, anyways, Altshuler and Krasinski direct on this, and they're uh longtime tie-ins for Mike Judge, Greg Daniels, all the good shit. Um Sweet. Let's get into it. We've got a
yeah, let's go.
cold open for this epi. Cold open in the Supernusempone living room. Uh, we see Kahn select a number on a jukebox, and Mickey by Tony Tony Basil starts playing. Oh,
Hey,
Mickey, you're
Mickey,
so
you're so
fine.
fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. And Con is doing some horrible karaoke.
Immediately getting the verses wrong, but just dancing in his little sweatsuit and singing his heart out, which is so fun.
Tracksuit looking fly.
hmm Min walks by and does the clap clap part, which I thought was very a nice animation note.
Yeah, that was nice.
That she's just, that's all her participation in it. She's not going to even acknowledge him. But then we cut to Hank watering his plants next door, and we see him he put the nozzle of the hose up to his head and squeeze the nozzle.
And actually releases some water and
Yep. Looks
shoots
at
himself in the dome with his hose.
looks at the camera and feigns the hose from hearing Khan sing. And that's our cold open. Pretty hardcore little cold open there.
Yeah, it really establishes that Hank and Con do not like each other, or at
Yeah.
least that Hank doesn't like Con. So
Yeah.
I thought it was a good addition. And
hmm
also the singing thing, the whole thing with Con singing does
Yeah.
come back a little
That does
bit
come
later in
through,
the
which
song.
I did appreciate that. But yeah, this is definitely a Hank and Khan episode. There'll be a lot of other people at play, but after the cold open, we are in the kitchen. Hank is pulling Min is visiting, and
Yeah.
Hank is pulling some tools out of the dishwasher.
Yeah, he's washing wrenches, and Min
Uh-huh.
seems to just be there for the sole
To
purpose of
flex.
bragging and also to get some translation.
Yeah, she's flexing a vacation. Peggy is like, "Oh man, it was so nice of you to bring these cookies," but like just hearing about Connie is a treat, which I thought was kind of very nice. But Min says, yeah, she doesn't want the cookies to go bad while they're going on vacation.
Yeah.
She's brought over this brochure
Subtle.
for a Metod duplex combo or Metod duplex condo. And yeah, she's flexing their nice beach vacation to Peggy, but she's like, Peggy Hill, what do you think Metod means in your language? Like luxury, expensive, very extra luxury, or whatever she says. Um, and yeah, because Peggy doesn't actually know Spanish, uh, Peggy says that it's one of those things that it's hard to translate.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't think this is a big spoiler because they're going to find it out. But listeners, if you haven't watched this episode, you should know that mitad means half
Yeah.
in
And I
Spanish.
did have to look that up because I also don't speak Spanish.
hmm Did a lot
So,
of Spanish translating for this episode. But yeah, Peggy doesn't know what mitad means. So she ends up saying that it conveys a simple but relatively clean living.
yeah.
Um, So Khan and Peggy both think Min thinks that Mitad means like a luxury.
Mhm.
Um, then we cut back over to the Supernusum household to Khan slamming the phone. His brother is going to back out of the vacation and he's going to
Yes.
stick him with the whole bill, and he can't afford
Deleted.
that. Ooh.
So there is a deleted scene here
Huh.
with more of the conversation between Khan and his brother. I guess
Oh.
his brother was fired from his job, and that's why he couldn't go,
Hmm.
which seems like
Dang.
some unnecessary, it's just kind of extra bit of
Mhm.
context. So we don't really need. So it makes sense that they cut that out.
I don't know. I think it could have highlighted Khan just being an asshole. That like he
Yeah,
doesn't care that his brother lost his job. He cares that he now has to pay for this full condo.
yeah, Khan was like criticizing him, like telling him he needs to be more like go with the flow like
Hmm.
him.
Ah, interesting.
It
Okay.
seems like him and his brother are kind of very similar. I don't know if we ever meet Khan's brother.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
I don't know if we do. Interesting. Well, yeah, he slams the phone. He can't afford this whole vacation since he bought the jukebox. And he looks out the window and he sees that maybe Cracker Neighbor can be the solution to his problems. He sees Hank out the window.
Yeah.
Hank is walking Ladybird, who is taking a dump on Khan's lawn. And we just hear Kahn open the window and say, "Howdy, neighbor." And then we cut into the Hills kitchen, which I thought was very fun. That's what he wants his solution to be, and we just don't even see him asking Hank. Um,
Yeah,
it's
and
taco night.
then yeah, they're eating tacos, which
Hmm.
feels deliberate. Like Peggy might be trying to like convince Hank by preparing some authentic Mexican cuisine. But
Yes.
it seems like none of them know how to fucking eat tacos.
No, no, they keep crushing the shells in their hands
Yeah.
as people are making their cases. Peggy Peggy says that, it's two stories and it's very mitad. You won't even have to see
Very
him.
meat.
So now in with Min, Peggy said that it probably means like simple living, and then with Hank, Peggy is like playing it up like it means deluxe
Yeah.
or something like that.
It's it's a luxury meatad.
It's very mitad, um, which I
And
have
she
said a
also
couple times.
mentions that they have been to Mexico before.
Hmm.
Hank, whenever she's talking to Min, Peggy mentions that they used to go every time that the peso like went
Got
the value of
devalued.
the peso went down. Um, so they have been before, but it's been a very long
Yes.
time. And Peggy's
Hank
like
said
trying to convince Hank to go because Bobby hasn't been back. And also she mentions like going on a trip to Oaxaca,
Oaxaca.
like a
Um,
school trip, and she got a paper mache pear.
yes. Peggy wants to go back so that she can replace the paper mache pear she got when she studied abroad in Oaxaca.
Yes. And also,
Deleted!
we have a deleted scene where we
Ooh,
get more lore on the paper mache pear. It was apparently shot by Cotton.
interesting.
Yes. And Peggy says she also mentions that Cotton took Hank out of the country when he was a kid. And she says Canada, was it? And then we have a
Canada
flashback.
slander.
We have a flashback
Whoa,
in
a
a
whole
deleted scene
flashback?
of young Hank
Oh,
and Cotton at a restaurant in Canada, and Cotton does the same joke that he did in season one, where he's like, "All right, I got sausage, I got this or whatever," and he's like, "Where's my bacon?" But it's Canadian bacon,
mm,
and the waitress at the restaurant is like explaining to him what Canadian bacon is, and
interesting.
he doesn't understand because it's a foreign land.
Interesting. That's a full fun deleted scene.
Yeah,
That
I
sounds
know.
like
It
a
was
whole
all
like,
storyboarded. It wasn't animated, but
yeah,
we got the like voice over for it. Yeah,
cool.
it was a good
Nice.
one.
Um, yeah, Peggy did a study. She was an exchange student in Oaxaca. Um, certifiable exchange student energy from Peggy also. It's
Yeah.
like, when you study abroad and you go live in Italy for a month and then you just like never ever stop talking about it for the rest of your life.
Shout out to my wife.
Shout out to my wife. Floor drop for the nephews.
Yeah.
Our wives studied abroad together in Italy.
Yeah. I
Um,
studied I studied quite a few broads, but not
yeah,
in
out in
Italy.
Italy.
Yeah.
But very nice. Yeah, Peggy wants to go get another paper mache pair. Luanne loves Mexico because of their unregulated makeup market.
Yeah, she
She
also
says,
says in a deleted scene
Deleted!
that they don't have any age or height restrictions. And and Bobby says, "You mean that I can buy firecrackers?" So,
"Oh, interesting.
yep.
Okay, that could have been left in. I feel like if it was just a line, a
Yeah.
quick line. Um, yeah, and Bobby chimes in and it says that it's the real life home of TV's Monsignor Martinez,
Yep. And
who
we do
is
get
the
a little while later, we do get a nice Via con Dios.
yes, we do. I like that he's starting to pop up now. He's a fun little bit of the show.
Yeah.
Um, so Hank reluctantly agrees and says, looks like it's Buenos Dias, Mexico. And Peggy laughs and chimes in and corrects Peggy and says, or corrects Hank and says, Hank, you just said good gods, but actually is incorrect. Hank got it right. Peggy was
Hank
wrong.
Hank knows more
Hmm.
Spanish than Peggy does, which
Yeah.
is so funny.
Yeah. Hank said, Hank said Buenos dias. And yeah, Peggy being bad at Spanish, I think, is one of the best long tropes of the show.
Oh yeah.
So we cut to the next morning. The Hills are getting loaded up into the car, and of course the Alley boys are coming to loiter and just talk to Hank as they're getting the car loaded up. Dale really wants to know how much this vacation costs. He's like, "What was it, 500? You get it for 350?" Um, Boomhauer goes in on talking about going down to Mexico, um, something something chiclets, something un camino dos mujeres. At the end of his ramble, he like drops into a smooth, like kind of Mexican accent when he says, un camino dos mujeres, which is Spanish for one path, two women.
Ah,
So who
all
knows what
right.
Boomhauer is talking about?
Hell yeah.
I think we know what Boomhauer is talking about. Um, Bill is being kind of like
I'm gonna come.
whiny.
Yeah, Bill is feeling left out and jealous.
Bill's yeah being passive aggressive and jealous of Hank, and he's like, "Have fun on your vacation with your new best friend Kahn, since you love Kahn so much." And Hank is just really annoyed with him and kind of immediately claps back and shuts him down. And he's like, "Yes, Bill, I love Kahn. Maybe if this vacation goes well, we'll move in together and live down there. Is that what you
and
want?"
and get married.
Yeah.
Bill's
He's
just
like,
like, no.
"No." So funny.
Good
Um,
line. Good line from Bill.
yeah, I loved that. So then we're on the road, and Han keeps trying to pass Peggy, but she's speeding up, and Khan is complaining to Min. He's like, "She won't let me pass," and Min is like, "She's not even thinking about you." And then we cut into the hill car, and Peggy is definitely speeding up to not let Khan pass.
And Hank is like
Um,
encouraging it.
mhm.
It's so
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. Peggy kind of chuckles and laughs, and she's like, "Think again, hot shot." It's just so
So
funny.
good. And then
Um,
Khan tries to get them fucking arrested.
Yeah, dude. So as revenge, they pull up to the gate and Khan cuts over into the shoulder to pass the hills and
Dick
get in
move.
line. Uh, Hank yells out the window that you're making a mockery of the breakdown lane. Um, and then yeah, as Khan goes through, he tells the security guards to pay attention to that crazy character back there because Hank was, yelling out the window, and he was like, maybe he's smuggling guns and
Yeah,
drugs.
running guns. And also,
Hmm.
I love that Bobby is like wondering why there's all the like fences and
Oh
guards.
yes.
And Hank explains what immigrants are and how
Hmm.
the US decided that we didn't need that many people, so we put up fences.
Yes, I totally skipped over that here in my notes. Yeah, Bobby asks what the big fence is for, and then yeah, Hank replies that a lot of people want to come, and we just decided we don't need that many. And then Bobby asks like, did the Supanusen phones come over the fence? And Hank says, no, Khan applied the legal way, but sometimes the system fails us.
Yeah, so Hank isn't even pro legal immigration.
Not for Khan, at least.
Not for Khan, yeah, because I mean, objectively in this episode, Khan, huge
Khan is
dickhead, huge
huge
piece of
dickhead.
shit. He
He
sucks.
he does admit to being a big big liar later on, but yeah, Khan is a huge asshole in this episode.
Yeah.
Not really for much reason either, but
Yeah.
seemingly other than sport, um, and being cheap and not wanting to pay for the vacation himself.
Well, he can. He
Um,
got a jukebox, brother.
yeah. So yeah, the hills have to get their vehicle inspected. The Supanusen get to the resort before the hills, and the property manager's showing them the condo, and Connor's like, "What the heck? I thought this was like two." Uh, uh, he was asking about the upstairs, and then the manager was like, Me Todd means half." Um, and Con starts to freak out, thinking that they're going to have to share this room with the hills.
And there's only
Um,
one bathroom.
there's only one bathroom, and he's like, "I don't want to be stuck with redneck neighbor." And the property manager is like, "Well, there won't be any redneck neighbors because nobody has rented the upstairs."
Convenient.
Um, hmm
Also, this guy, the manager, is kind of he's speaking to Khan in English, but kind of speaking to him as if he assumes that Khan can't speak English,
Yeah.
which was kind of funny to me.
Hmm. Interesting note of that. I didn't take note of that. language barrier. But yeah, that's kind of funny. Yeah, so the hills pull up. Oh, I was a little confused on this part of the timeline. What do your notes have? What does Khan bust the lock before the break or after the break?
So Kahn, I believe, well, I watched on the DVD, so I didn't
Uh-huh.
see any commercials, but
Of
Kahn
course.
is in the process of trying to like jimmy the upstairs lock open
When
as
they
the
pull up.
hills pull up.
Okay, so I think the way it happens on TV is we see the hills pull up, and then whenever we cut back to he busts the lock as they're coming up the stairs. I just wanted to make
Got
sure
it.
I had my break right. But yeah.
Yeah, he's
Um,
fully breaking in to the condo upstairs. Hank
mhm.
is like, hell no, no way you're getting the upstairs after
Yeah.
pulling that stunt on us. And
Hmm.
Khan's like,
Okay,
all
fine.
right, cool.
He
Gives him
says,
a car key.
yeah, he's like the lock's kind of busted. You really got to rake it. And yeah, Hank is like, this is a car key. He's like, you want a free car? Congratulations.
Yeah. I think that's
Uh,
when we get the commercial break, actually.
yeah. Um, during the yeah, that might be around the. Who knows where it actually falls? Um, you didn't see it, and I didn't pay good enough attention. Uh, the next morning, Peggy calls out, "Come on, guys, it's time to go visit the paper mache market,"
Yeah,
which is interesting.
because
Um,
that's a thing. I guess it actually is.
that's a thing.
Yeah,
In certain towns and districts, there'll be like the leather market or all that type of stuff. Certain areas
yeah.
of cities will be known for
Big
vending
on
certain items.
paper mache, man.
Yeah, you and Peggy both. Um, Bobby and Connie. Connie is like, Bobby, we should sneak off. Again, this is the second time we've seen Connie being
Yeah.
like, come on, Bobby, let's go break off.
Bad influence.
Uh-huh. She's independent. So Bobby is like, can we go play beach volleyball? And the parents are just like, yeah, sure. They let him go pretty easily. Then we get a famous scene in King of the Hill lore, the WD-40
Oh
scene.
yeah, the gag with the WD-40.
Yeah, I think Hank asks Peggy where our he's like, oh, probably just needs WD-40. Peggy, where's our bathroom stuff?
Yeah.
Which I think is funny that he keeps the WD-40 in his toiletry bag, but
Yeah, where else
um,
would you put it?
he's trying to get the cap open on a big can of WD-40 and he can't do it. So he reaches to his belt and unholsters a smaller can of WD-40 to lubricate the can.
Classic.
Once he gets the lid off, then he gets the door lubed up. I think that
So good.
sequence is is pretty famous for the show. So I was surprised to see that. And when I heard him ask for the WD-40, I sat up and I was like, is this the scene? And it was, dude.
We got it.
It was a nice little surprise for me. We cut to Peggy looking at some frog statues. Did you look at any of these frog statues?
They were adorable. I love them.
They were
I
very
loved all
cute.
of them.
One of them was having a frog mitzvah. I don't know if you saw that
That's
in the very top,
spectacular. I didn't see
very
that.
top. Um, very funny. But Peggy's like, nope, there's definitely no paper mache pears here. Luanne sees she stops by the window and is stopped dead in her tracks and says, it's leche de sol. Um,
She finds that good unregulated makeup.
she finds the illegal beauty secret of the stars. Leche de sol, of course, is Spanish for milk of the sun.
So good.
Yeah, so she puts on like a headscarf
Yeah.
and some big
She
white
goes she
glasses.
goes incognito to go and buy
Hmm.
her sketchy makeup that
So
is
funny.
made of turtles, we learn later.
Yeah, we'll find out later on. One of my favorite lines. Bobby and Connie go into a fireworks shop, and Bobby's like, he's like muy guapo or like muy grande M80s,
That's half a
and
stick of dynamite.
half a stick of dynamite. But they spot La Bamba instead.
It's just like a fucking literal car bomb, dude.
Yeah, it looks just like a giant keg
And
of,
we did
of powder.
Deleted!
we did have a deleted scene of some other people going into this firecracker store before Bobby and
Interesting.
Connie. And I think that they're like bringing something back and learn that the fireworks store sells a lot of duds. Like
Ah,
they say something along the lines of like, we don't have rigorous quality control. We get them from South Carolina.
That's funny.
So it
That's
kind of
funny.
establishes that like the fireworks don't work a lot of the time.
These suck because we imported them from the US.
Yeah. They're from
Nice.
South Carolina.
Yeah. One of my uncles is a part owner of like a fireworks warehouse.
Damn, that's
He's a
very
fireworks.
Oklahoma.
He's a fireworks. He's from Missouri.
Okay.
It's just
That's also very Missouri. Fireworks
mhm.
aren't legal in Canada. And even like when we did have them, they were always very like dinky and
Yeah.
they weren't anything close. Like when I first moved to Oklahoma,
Yeah.
the first like 4th of July that I was there, I thought I was in like a war zone, dude. Because
Jeez.
neighborhoods are just like blasting the shit out. It's so crazy.
You need to step your freedom up, brother.
Yeah, well, we eventually got fully on board with it and would
Pow, pow,
always go all out with the fireworks. But
pow.
yeah, a lot of people blowing their hands off
Hmm.
with those South Carolina fireworks.
Yeah, Uncle Bobby. Shout out to Uncle Bobby. Although, yeah, he's in the part of Missouri that's right across the border from Oklahoma, so might as well be Oklahoma.
Mm, yeah.
Their
Kind of
laws
like
are even
how
looser than ours are, which for
kind of like how
fireworks,
Edmond is basically Oklahoma City.
some would say. Um, yeah, they spot this La Bamba. Um, we cut into Hank at a bar watching uh, the
Vaya con
Dias and
Dios.
Noches. Yeah, Los Dias y Noches de Monseñor Martinez. And we get a cool scene where this guy jumps out of a plane with a parachute, and then Monseñor Martinez steps up and says his favorite line, Vaya con Dios, and jumps out of the plane without a parachute. And then they have
So
a
sick.
fight. They have a fight
In the
midair,
air.
and then they cut away from the TV. So I was like, damn, this show is sick.
Yeah.
Um, he's always doing crazy stuff. Like he rented a car in the name of some infant children and then like did insurance fraud on the car or something like
Yeah.
that in one of the episodes we saw.
I'm excited to get more
Yeah. He's my
Vaya
favorite.
con Dios as we go.
He's my favorite priest for sure. Um, Hank gets served a beer with a lime, which he throws the lime away in disgust. Um, which I don't know, man. This is 90s Texas, but Texas is a pretty much a lime in a beer type of place.
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't fully Tex-Mexified yet in small town Arlen,
Yeah,
maybe in the 90s, but
maybe they weren't drinking beers or limes with their beers, but
we did have shortly before
Deleted.
this a deleted
oh,
scene of Hank admiring the work of a Mexican gentleman mowing a lawn. Hank goes
oh,
up and like criticizes him, and then the guy gives him like some tips on how to mow lawns in
ah,
this climate. And Hank is very
oh,
interested, and Kahn comes out and interrupts them and like tells him to keep it down with the noise. And then the guy leaves, and Hank is like, "What are you doing? I was learning about their culture." And then Hank is like, "I'm gonna
that's
go,
funny.
like I need to go get a beer, like I need to go blow off steam." And Khan was like, "Oh, I'll come with you." And Hank is like, "I didn't invite you." And Khan's like, "I'll find my own bar then." And then Hank walks away, and Khan just waits a second and then goes in the same direction as Hank. So Khan
That's
definitely
funny.
followed Hank to this bar.
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
good. That's
Because
a
we
great
learn that
scene.
we see that Khan is sitting at the other end of the bar and also
Hmm.
notices the lime in his beer. And he's like, I didn't order a salad.
Yeah, I didn't order a fruit salad. Okay, that's an interesting deleted scene. I
Yep.
kind of would have liked to have seen that. I like that he thinks he was learning culture by talking about
Yeah.
lawns, but that would be it for him.
Yeah. That's
Dang,
what
that's
I'm
a
here
cool one.
for. That's what I'm here for, brother.
Yeah, find your own bar. Some mariachis enter the bar
Yeah,
and
this
start
was good.
start playing in the direction of Hank, which Hank immediately does not want and says, "No, no, no, you should go him. He's rich. He's got I think
Mucho
mucho,
dinero.
mucho dinero. He says
Yeah,
dinero.
dinero.
At least the subtitles spell it out as dinner dash o.
Dinner
Yes,
slash O. My favorite
din-
kind of cereal.
dineros.
That's what I call it when I have cereal for dinner.
Breakfast for dinner. Um, Han goes on the defensive against the mariachis and decides if they're going to sing for him, he's going to sing for them. Um, I kind of took this as Khan like being like, "Oh no, I'm not going to tip you. Like I'm going to sing to you.
I'm
You got to tip
performing
me
for
now."
your ass. Yeah.
Yeah. So Khan starts in with he plays them out of the bar whenever we see them. Um, with blinded me with science, but he starts in the bar with what I like about you, and
Yeah.
as Kahn starts to sing at these mariachis, we see Bobby and Connie figuring out where to put La Bamba.
And they
Um,
decide to commit terrorism.
they decide to blow up the Italian embassy in Mexico, which is a pasta place called Que Pasta. And out
I didn't catch that. That's
yeah,
really
it's
good.
Que Pasta, which I thought was funny. And it's got like a big boy style Italian pasta mascot out
Mm,
front, with a bowl of pasta that just fits La Bamba so perfectly.
just fits
So
it. Just nice and snug to blow up an entire building, I would assume.
yes, they well, it was definitely enough to take off your arm, is what Bobby said back in the fireworks shop. But they
Yeah.
light the fuse, they run over to the trash can, watch their destruction, and nothing happens.
Yeah.
Then we cut back to Kahn and Hank driving the mariachis out of the bar, and Kahn is singing "She Blinded Me with Science." Um, I also caught another fun little animation note here. It looks like Kahn is wearing a Brooks Brothers polo. You looked at the emblem on his polo. It is a Brooks
Huh.
Brothers polo, which is, I don't know, like a
Interesting.
step up from Ralph Lauren. I don't know. It's for,
Is it a step up?
who knows? Could be a step down, depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, he's very obviously got the Brooks Brothers. He brought out the I'm rich. He brought out the I have money shirt for his vacation.
I
Um,
mean, you got to stun on him a little.
yes, we cut to the market, and Peggy has found. Well, first of all, she's talking to a guy who's explaining that the masks are part of our culture and hold a lot of importance. And she cuts him off, and she's like, "And you have the pear." Or he's like, "I can see you're here for the pear." Um, there is a diorama. It's got a pear and a frog on it. She picks it up and immediately just breaks the pear off, and she goes, "I'm not even going to haggle with you because I assume I have to buy the frog also." She's just so happy to have her pear. She says, it's such a lovely pear. And this pear vendor says to her, actually, I have a friend that I need to send a package to back in the States, but I don't trust the post office. Will you deliver this to me? You
And
deliver
I
this
was
package?
immediately thinking that this guy was having Peggy be a drug mule as
Yes,
well. Of
yes.
course, Peggy didn't catch that, but
That's what I assumed. And I think the joke ends up all being on us later on in the episode. But yeah, I think we're meant to believe that Peggy is smuggling drugs. At least that's what Min is going to tell her. She
yeah.
says, Peggy's like, it's wrapped so nicely. What do you think's in here? And Min is like, cocaine, black tar, PCP.
PCP.
She's PCP. She's like, I've watched some 2020 specials and you're a drug mule,
Yeah.
Peggy Hill. I also love how she always calls her Peggy Hill. And I
Yeah.
think Khan pretty much calls Hank Hill mostly,
Yeah.
um, which I always thought was funny. Um, Dale is going to show up
Just
outside of the
happened to be
condo.
driving by in the neighborhood.
Just happened to be driving it by, and he thought this place looked like it had clean facilities. I was just in the area and needed to take a shit. This place looked nice. Oh, you're
Yeah.
here too, Hank? What a
And Hank
coincidence.
Hank said it was what, like a 9 hour drive?
Yeah, he's like a 9 hour drive, and Dale's like, you're right, I should stay. And then just gets his stuff
He
and
has
starts
all his
walking
shit.
in.
He brought some
He's got his snorkel
flippers.
and everything.
Yeah.
Yep. Then we cut back to Bobby and Connie still waiting behind the trash can. A truck does pull up, take the trash can in front of them, and then set it down and back away. And then the dialogue starts, which I thought was a funny visual
Yeah.
note. That also this driver would just pick up and put this big trash can down with two children right there.
Yeah. I was also fully
Very safe.
expecting for the bomb to eventually go off,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yes, that's the joke the whole episode.
they keep us waiting.
They're like, it's a dud. And then Bobby's like, well, maybe we should wait another 15 minutes. Um, so they're just gonna stand there and watch La Bamba for a little while. Um, we cut over to kids going down the water slide at the pool, and skinny, freaky, weird looking Dale
Yes.
standing in line to use the water slide, and the manager comes by and he's like, "You skinny gringo, I don't know you. Are you a guest here?" And he's like, "Yes, I'm staying with the Hills in 5B." And the guy's like, "5B upstairs?" He says, "Damn touristas."
Sold them
Um,
out.
yes, the Hills don't know that they've been got. Um, the cops are going to show up. Well, actually, before the cops show up, Bobby walks back in, kind of do 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 do. He's like, I know why they call it beach volleyball, because it's fun. And Peggy busts in with, Bobby, do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I'm naive? And Bobby thinks he's been caught, and he's like, I'm sorry. But then, Peggy reveals that this
She's
could have
actually
been,
genuinely asking.
yeah, she's actually asking,
And
which I
yes,
thought was
Peggy,
very
you
funny.
are. You
And
are.
then here's where we get the absolutely sad and tragic line from Luanne about the makeup that she's got. She's inspecting a jar of makeup, and she says, "Oh, they had to kill 10 turtles to fill this one little jar. Neat.
She's totally fine with it
Totally
because
fine
it
with it.
works. It
It
works.
works. De leche del sol. Um,
Milk of the sun.
Milk of the sun. It's very me, Todd. The cops show up. We see the manager, pointing up at the window, and everybody starts to freak out for different reasons. Peggy, obviously thinks she has drugs. Um, Luann thinks she's got illegal makeup. Bobby thinks he's wanted for domestic terrorism.
Yeah.
So they run to the
Dale jumps
bathroom.
out the window immediately.
Dale jumps out the window. It's, I was never here. Peggy is trying to flush the package, which is where it's revealed that in the package is another paper mache pear.
It's actually a paper mache pear,
It
and
wasn't
she
drugs.
she fucking ruined it for this poor man.
Yeah, he's the pear guy, and he was sending pears. And the joke is also on us as the viewers because we thought that it was drugs.
Yes.
Um,
Which
that
I feel is kind of a warranted thought, right? You should never, listeners, nephews, listen up
mhm.
here. Listen up. If someone ever gives you a package, even if they're telling you that it's something they're sending to a friend, it's just a pair, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it, listeners. Okay?
No,
Don't do it.
don't do it. Um,
Okay.
Also, I did appreciate in this episode that they didn't really try to pull any like stereotypes about Mexico and Mexicans or anything
Yeah,
like
not
that.
really at all. Yeah.
And the joke, I think the one place they got close to it was here with Peggy of being like, oh, this person turned this like sweet old craftsman guy turned her into a drug mule. But the joke is on us because,
Yeah.
like that's what we read into it. So
Subverting expectations.
they did subvert it and they really didn't get, I don't think too dicey with what they were
Yeah.
doing here in Mexico and their portrayal of Mexican people. But Mexican nephews chime in.
How did you
Um,
feel about it? Luann also has them. She's having Bobby eat the makeup, and Bobby
mhm,
says it tastes like turtles. He was
yeah,
not in the room whenever she discovered that it was made of turtles, so he
yeah,
just was able to tell that from the taste,
yes.
which I thought
Um,
was very funny.
so yeah, the cops show up, and they essentially just kind of do another off-screen. Oh, we do see Dale fall out of the second story
Yeah.
window,
Yeah.
which was very good.
So he
Um,
immediately gets caught.
yes. We cut to they're in front of the judge here, um, and they're pleading their case. And Dale has a pretty fun line about if the key does not fit, you must acquit,
Yep.
which is
Or if the
ripped
key
from the
fits, because they were able to get the door open,
yeah, you
you
must
must
acquit.
acquit. Yeah.
Which of course nephews will know is a rip from the OJ trial and drama surrounding it about the glove.
Yep.
Uh,
Which would have been very topical, especially in
mhm.
1998.
Yes, if the glove does not fit, you must acquit. So if the
Yes.
key does fit, you must acquit, and the judge orders their fine to go up higher after Dale
Yeah.
says that.
He starts with 8,000 pesos and then goes up to 10,000.
Ten
Now I
thousand
did
pesos.
look. 10,000 pesos is equivalent to $541, which by today's metrics, adjusted for inflation, would be $1,028.83
Okay.
for them
D-
to pay.
yeah. Don't squat at a hotel or do. Don't get caught,
Yeah,
nephews.
but they can't
Um,
swing it. They can't
they can't.
swing that amount.
They don't have the money because Khan says his assets are very liquid or are hard to make liquid. He says you pay and
Yeah.
I get you back. Which we know Khan would have never tried to
Yeah.
get his money back. Dale definitely doesn't have any money. Hank doesn't have any money. Um, they say that they should split up. Dale and I will go together. Kahn, you're on your own. They try to
Yeah.
ditch Kahn.
And Dale's like, no,
Um,
I think we'd be fine. Kahn, on the
yeah,
other hand.
yeah. Um, very funny here, but Kahn is going to kind of immediately break down and kind of whine and be like, but we're Americans, Hank. Like, remember when we chased those mariachis out of the bar? And then he's kind of
Yeah.
breaking down, and finally he pretty much is like, please help me, Hank.
Plays the pity card. They send the rest of them home because they all still have their IDs. So
Yes.
Min and Peggy and Luanne and Bobby all leave. And then they
Um,
decide we're gonna jump the fucking border
yep.
and
They-
Khan's coming with us.
they're like, Kahn, get in the trunk. Uh, Essentially, he was like, we're Americans, so this will be no problem for us. But they tell Kahn to get in the trunk. Did you notice whose car that they were in?
Was it Dale's?
It was Nancy's car.
Oh, it was Nancy's car.
There's a
Okay.
vanity plate on the back that spells out Weather Girl.
Oh, hell yeah.
I noticed it too because I was like, well, Dale normally drives the Dale's dead bug truck,
Oh yeah,
the
that's right.
the
Yeah.
van. So like, whose is this? But yeah, it's a little red convertible. It says Weather Girl. John Redcord probably bought that for her.
Yeah, I also would assume that Dale's bug truck would not make it across the border because it's probably not registered and probably is also filled with things that would
Yeah,
not that they wouldn't want being brought
across. Yeah,
across the border there. So it
that's
makes
probably
sense that
true.
he's in another car. But they
Yeah,
put Kahn in the trunk. Really did love the gag when they were driving and
hmm,
they like point out a pothole and then Dale goes and drives over it
yep.
purposely just to fuck with Kahn.
We hear Khan singing from the trunk.
Yep. And they
Yeah,
stop him.
and they hit him with a pothole, which yeah, I thought was very funny. They pull up to the border, and Hank is like, "What happens if we get caught?" And Dale's like, "Well, with my extensive knowledge of the Mexican legal system, we're in for 15 years in a starvation diet."
Yeah.
And then he just keeps saying it gets worse, and so they kind of get a little bit scared as they pull up to the gate
But
here.
it really seems like because Dale is like, let me do all the talking.
Yeah.
It seems like he's gonna like take the reins, but the
Yes.
second the border agent comes up and says anything to him, he freaks out and runs
Yes.
away.
Yes. The second the border guard is like, "Where are you guys headed to?" And he's like, "Arlen." His voice
And
cracks.
the border
He,
guard is being so nice. He's like, I've been to Arlen.
he's
Yeah.
like, "I've been to Arlen. It's nice." And then yeah, Dale immediately for no reason just shouts, "Run!" and
Yeah. Seems like
jumps
they would
out
have
of
been
the car.
completely fine. Kahn gets out of the trunk immediately, and then Hank is like, well, I guess I have to run too. Shit.
Yeah.
So
Um,
good.
very funny ending to the second act right there. That's our commercial break as they leave the car. We come back to, and the guys are running through the streets of Mexico. They all turn around a corner and stop and catch their breath. Um, Hank suggests calling Ross Perot's 1-800 number, which
Yeah.
would have been a topical thing at the time. His campaign had a 1-800 number that he gave the phone number out like during a taping of a talk show. He didn't, I don't think ended up running actually, but then they ended up
Uh,
rerunning the talk show all the time. So people would call uh in and like give their support. The hotline was like, if you think I should run for president, call in and tell me about it. And then they kept rerunning it so they would get new batches of calls all the time as people were
mm,
hitting reruns. So topical reference. Definitely no good tie-ins to today on that one. I don't think
nope.
Ross
Yeah.
Perot's. Yep. Moving on. Um, Hank, very funny line from Hank here. They suggest just hopping the border, and Hank wants to do this the legal way. He says
Yeah.
he says I love my country and I would never enter her in ways unnatural. Which
Gross.
that was very funny for him to say about America. Exactly. They approach some frat guys with some mopeds and they're asking where they got them, like how much did it cost to rent those? And these guys are like, "Oh, we own these. But we're actually looking to sell them." So some frat guys sell some mopeds to the guys. We cut to,
Well, they hawk Khan's watch.
yeah, they're on. We cut to them on the mopeds. There's a lot of good cut to
Yeah.
scenes in this one. I thought that was used fairly well. But yeah, we cut to the mopeds, and Han is saying like, "Yeah, that was my grandfather's watch," which is pretty sad when you learn about his immigrant backstory. And then Dale is like, "And those were my only button fly jeans."
Yeah. Dale is in
Um,
his underwear now. And
Very
also
funny.
cuts back to these guys with the
Uh-huh.
mopeds,
And
and
there's some old people,
an
some
older
tourists.
couple comes out looking for their mopeds. So they inadvertently stole those mopeds, which
Yes.
is hilarious.
Very funny. They paid someone for them, just not the right someones. We get the shot of Dale is doing the no-hander thing, and he's like, "Look, guys, look, look, look," and you're just expecting as soon as they're not looking, and as soon as they turn, you're expecting Dale to crash, but as soon as they turn, Hank and Kahn crash their
Yep.
moped. Um,
That moped's immediately fucked up.
yeah. Hank says, "Very, very funny. For my next trick, I'll kick your ass," or something like that.
Yeah.
Of course, says he's going to kick Dale's ass. They go three deep on the moped, and Hank says, "Dale, you're lucky Pierre,"
I'm
which I thought
assuming
was,
you looked up what Lucky Pierre is.
I didn't. I think I used my context clues to meant it in the middle on a threer. But
Yeah,
did
so
you look this up?
I did. Lucky
Oh,
Pierre, quote, the person in the middle possession of a three-person
I was
threesome.
right.
To
Oh,
achieve the status of Lucky Pierre, they must be both penetrated by the person behind them
oh,
and penetrating the person in front of them simultaneously.
oh,
So
oh!
one of the dirtier jokes that we've had in the show thus far. Yeah,
Wow!
Lucky
Oh my
Pierre, buddy.
gosh, that's very funny.
Yep.
Wow, what a poll. I like that they put that in there, and because that probably snuck under some sensors at
Yeah, I
that
guess
time
there's
for
also
sure.
like a movie called Lucky Pierre too, which
Mm.
maybe is like, but definitely what they were referring to was
Yeah,
that whole situation.
nuts on
Uh,
butts.
yeah, there is a movie called The Adventures of Lucky Pierre. It is a comedy slash sexploitation film from
Ah,
1961.
okay.
A man encounters a bevy of naked beauties in a collection of short skits.
Mm.
So,
Short skits.
yeah,
Interesting. Lucky Pierre.
shout out to Lucky Pierre.
Nice. I did not actually look into that, but that was great.
Yeah.
Nice. Um, they end up going so slow, so they just say, "Let's walk," which I thought was very funny.
Yeah, quicker
That
to
they're
walk.
dragging ass on the moped. They inadvertently kind of join a group of migrants headed in
Yeah.
the same direction. And here's where the rest of the episode kind of starts to get a little cinematic with the
Yeah,
kind of
good
rest of the
shots.
sequencing.
Good shots
Um,
here.
the sun is going down as they're joined by these folks. They come to the Rio Grande River, and we see, folks holding their shoes above their head as they wade across the river. Dale does the same, taking cigarettes out of his pocket,
I love that. He had
opening his
cigarettes
shirt,
taped
taped.
around his torso.
Yeah,
So good.
just got to get those cheap ciggies back.
Just that like visual of him with his shoes on, no pants, holding cigarettes above his head,
Yeah,
trying to cross the river.
very
So
much
good.
Dale. Kahn says that he can't swim. Hank is like halfway in the river, and Kahn's like, "Wait, Hank, I can't swim." Being really pitiful about it. So Hank is like, fine, whatever. We cut to Kahn, who's like, the mighty river, as Hank is carrying him on his shoulders, high and
Yeah.
dry. And Kahn is like, you know, this has renewed our friendship, and friendship is about honesty. And he's like, I need to tell you the truth, Hank. I broke into the top condo on purpose, and this makes Hank mad. So Hank flips him back into the river. He doesn't come up for a couple of seconds, and then we see that he does a pretty good swim over to the other edge of
Yeah.
the river.
Just kind of like a perfect breaststroke.
Yeah, he
Smoothly gets to the other side. So
comes out of
funny.
the water, and Hank is like, "I thought you said you couldn't swim," and Con is like, "Oh yeah, I'm a big fat liar."
I
Just
also
openly says it.
maybe my favorite gag of the whole episode here. Hank is like, "Oh, this river is so
So
disgusting. Like,
dirty.
look at this. Someone left their underwear in here." And like you find out that it's Dale's. Like he just like
Off
took off
screen.
his undies.
Off
Hank just
screen, he's
throws him
like,
his underwear off screen.
Hank, a little help. Yeah, he throws his underwear off screen, and then we get a line from a woman who goes, "He won't last 2 days in the United States," which I thought was very funny.
Yep.
A great line, just a real nice punch at us Americans. Well landed. We cut back to Khan saying like, I can't believe it's this easy to get in this country. I had to learn the Bill of Rights. When am I going to use that? Dale says that you'd be surprised because I take the Fifth Amendment daily. Um, very funny.
Yeah.
Dale starts to go over but can't get up because he's Dale and he's a little weakling. So Hank gives him a boost, and then Kahn just climbs up on Hank's back
Yep.
to start to climb over the fence.
Sun's starting to go down.
Mm-hmm. um, Hank gets about halfway up but falls and can't make it, and then we see the headlights in the distance, the border patrol. Hank calls out to Dale for some help, who we see Dale emerge from a bush and run off.
He just cheeses it out of there.
Dale just absolutely ditches Hank.
He's such a coward. I love it.
Such a coward. He climbs up, and then we do see the shot of Kahn reaching down from the top of the fence and say, grab my hand type of thing. Kahn does pull him over. And then they're at the bottom of the fence, and Kahn says to Hank, "Welcome to the land of opportunity, Hank."
And then they both run at the same
They
time.
both run off. I just thought it was very nice. They have a scintilla opportunity. He's like, "Welcome to the land of opportunity." They run off.
Yeah,
Um,
super good.
We cut back to the alley. It's the next day. We get the whole chorus of "yep, yep, mm-hmm," and then Kahn throws in a "yep." So Kahn has joined the alley at the end of this episode here.
Yep.
And Kahn is doing a lot of talking here as the episode closes out. And he says, like, you know what? Actually, I was here first this time, which makes you the immigrant, Hank. And Hank's like, shut up. And Kahn says, like, my property was worth nothing now that I live next to an alien. Kahn just absolutely throwing haymakers at Hank. He says, he said, he says, you got in the baby way. I memorized all the presidents. Then Kahn says, there's like, a stretch between some of them that's really hard. And he says, you ever heard about Garfield? And he says, he's more than just a cartoon cat, He's very significant to my nation's history.
Yeah, there's our Garfield reference.
There's your Garfield
Got
reference. Yeah. There's the Garfield reference. Kahn had
Good
to
way to
memorize
end the
all the
episode.
presidents.
If I were Hank, I would have not. Like, why are you allowing Kahn to hang out with you anymore? Dude almost got you arrested and killed.
Yes. There's a post-credit scene here. Did you catch the post-credit,
I did
Mr.
catch
Deleted
the
Scenes boy?
post-credit scene, and there is also an alternate ending.
Interesting. Well, let's do the first regular post-credit. We cut back after the credits to suspenseful music playing. Zoomed in on La Bamba in the arms of the Que Pasta statue.
It's still there.
The music kind of swells and then stops. And then we just see La Bamba, and then the stream cuts. And so the La Bamba we do not see La Bamba blow up.
Yeah, we see some just like people walking by. Everyone is just going on with their lives. I believe we do, I think, see the couple that had their mopeds stolen walk by.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I may be wrong about that, but they looked similar to the couple who had their mopeds stolen. But that leads me to believe that, like, this is just a ticking time bomb and is eventually going to explode.
Yes.
Bobby might be responsible for some deaths.
It's off screen. It didn't happen. It's international waters.
Yep. Doesn't count unless you see it.
I had a note here. It happens all the way back at the beginning of the show. Did you notice the theme song on this one?
Had like a little bit of a different opening.
It has an extra 3 notes. It has like a da da dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Kind of in like a Spanish flair.
Yeah,
we didn't talk about that in the beginning, but I just wrote it down at the end.
I did notice that it was slightly different, but yeah. There is an alternate ending.
Deleted
to this episode. The alternate ending is inside. Peggy is putting a pear into a package and shipping it. I believe she kept the like address from the person.
She passes on her pear?
I don't know if it's her pear. I looked like it was like an actual pear.
Oh, a real pear.
Yeah. And then Luanne walks in talking about how stupid the FDA is and how they don't know anything. And then she kind of like stops and grabs her side and says her liver hurts.
That's funny.
And that's how it ends.
Okay, nice. That's a pretty good ending.
Well, that's the end of the episode. We freaking did it, brother.
Nice.
Should we step into the alley right away post
We should. Let us adjourn.
I'm gonna buy you a drink.
Okay, this is a segment of the show where we rank the episode out of a sixer of Alamo beers. How are you feeling about this one? My friend, you said that maybe you changed your mind on it a little, hey?
Yeah, in my first watch, where I wasn't paying a ton of close attention, I originally thought this was going to be like a threer. I might have even potentially gone lower. I think I'm bumping
Mm,
up to a four.
okay, all right. That's
I think
kind of right where I was sitting as well.
right at four.
Yeah, I think I'm at a 4 for this one too.
Yeah. Um, I can't say really what it is in total that knocks it down for me. I feel like the stuff with Kahn was just like a little too rough. Like I would have
Yeah,
liked it better if he was like having to pretend to be fake nice to Hank because he's splitting the vacation. Like he
yeah.
was just him being a dick was just a little too heavy for me, maybe.
Yeah, like there's a lot of episodes where Hank is a huge dick, but like kind of at least makes an effort to redeem himself or has some sort of redeeming quality. But in
Hmm.
this episode, Khan is pretty much nothing but a dick, with the
Yeah.
exception of when he like reaches his hand down to help Hank over. But like
Yep.
he legitimately could have had Hank sent to prison on like two separate occasions,
Yeah.
which is it's
Um,
pretty fucked. It's a
yeah.
pretty
I
fucked
thought
up thing to do.
so that one kind of annoyed me. I would have maybe liked Dale to have a better reason to be in Mexico in the episode other than him wanting a nice vacation. Like I
Yeah.
think if we had not seen Dale the entire episode up until we got to Mexico, it would have been funnier if he was there doing his own. I think if he was there doing his own shit, his sketchy own illegal Dale stuff,
Yeah.
and
I
like we never
think
get a firm answer of what he's doing there or that type of thing.
I think Dale kind of saved the episode.
He did. He
And
was needed
I
there.
like that he was there because whenever Hank was talking to them all about it, Dale also seemed kind of jealous of the whole situation.
Yeah.
So I liked Dale being there. I think that was kind of a redeeming, and we also got so many good moments with Dale. We got him with his shirt off.
Mm-hmm.
We got
Pants
him
off.
the situation at the border, like talking all the like mad game about like how he's got it, and then just immediately running away. The
Mm-hmm.
underwear gag, him running away the second the border patrol showed up.
Yeah.
There were some
I
good Dale moments, but yeah, I agree. It felt kind of shoehorned in that he was there. It kind of felt like they needed the whole episode kind of felt like they just needed an episode, and they were like, "What if they go to Mexico?"
they
And
go
I
to
don't know.
vacation together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was tight for what it was, but yeah, I think it felt a little. I don't know.
Yeah, I would have
It's
liked
hard to say.
more Bobby and Connie,
I think so
and
too.
that whole thing. Like it's a funny gag, but it's also like, why are you gonna have them commit terrorism?
Yeah, I do think we could have got a whole small montage of them doing other things throughout the morning first,
Yeah,
and then they get to the fireworks. Like, yeah, I could have had a nice fun montage.
yeah. Or maybe if like Bonnie and or Connie and Bobby got in trouble and Hank and Con had to come together to, but that also just kind of happened with the episode in the cave where
Hmm.
they had to go and save the kids from the cave. So
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I'm with you. It felt like something was a little missing, but it was like there were good enough gags and it was like a funny enough story to
yeah,
warrant a four brewski
yeah.
pounder for your boy.
If I'm also gonna write more content into this episode after the fact, some funny shots of what was going on back in the alley, back with the alley mates could have been fun
Yeah, like
because the
Bill
leftovers,
just being
Bill,
sad.
Bill Boomhauer and Nancy, John Redcorn, Joseph are all left over, and
Yeah.
like that's basically it that's in the alley. So there could have been some funny cutaway shots there, but
Yeah.
obviously they had their time to fill. But yeah, who knows?
My one of the thoughts I had as well was whenever there was a joke early on when they were talking about whether or not they should go to Mexico, and Hank was like, "Well, we have those automatic sprinklers now, so we can
Mm.
go." He didn't
Hmm.
think of Ladybird. Like you can't just up and leave. What are you gonna do
Yeah,
with the dog? So it would have been funny if we had like a cut back to like Bill in their house being weird because he's taking care
he's
of
watching Lady Bird.
Ladybird.
Yeah. Hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
with you on that. But four sounds good. I'm with you
Four
on
sounds
that.
good. Four
Should
cervezas with
we
lime.
Not for me, brother.
No fruit salad.
I'm an American. Should we crown our king?
We should.
God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby.
How you feeling? Who's the king of this hill? Who's the king of the episode in your eyes, brother?
I'm struggling on this one.
I think I've got mine.
Yeah, you want to go ahead and go?
I think I'm gonna go
I
with
don't have mine
Dale.
yet.
I think I'm going Dale on the bitch. Mainly from just like a jokes per capita.
Mhm.
The moment at the border was very funny. The him shirt off, very funny. The cigarettes strapped around him, very funny. The underwear gag, very funny. Him jumping out of the window,
Very me,
also
Todd.
very good. Very me, Todd.
Very me, Todd.
Yes,
Very me, Todd.
me, Todd.
I'm torn. I think I'm gonna. Man, Dale is definitely a good pick, and he's on the potential for me. Mm, I hate to give it to him because I didn't. I thought he was a little too much of a villain, but I do think I'm gonna go with Kahn for this.
Oh shit.
It's his episode. It's
Yeah,
3 days of Kahndo. Um, he yeah, they really unleash him in this episode. Like he's always being
yeah.
funny and snippy with Hank about stuff, but they have teamed up pretty easily in the past. He's really they've just ripped the can open for him here. And he was just so big of an asshole to ignore. I think I'm picking him in a I'm taking him as a villain pick for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
First,
the villain pick.
well, I guess maybe not the first villain pick because you did pick the guy from the Arrowhead episode. He
Yeah,
was very much a villain as well.
yeah,
You like a villain.
yeah. I mean, he was I think the king of this episode. He's the king of the
Yeah,
condo.
yeah, yeah.
He was very
I'm
me
with you.
Todd.
I'm with you. Well, all right. That does it. We got one Dale and one Kahn on the board
Yee.
for those who are keeping track, but that'll do it for this episode this week. Thank y'all for listening or watching. If you're listening, you can watch on YouTube. If you're watching, you can listen. And if you do want to listen, you can go and see some of the visuals from the episode on our Instagram at Hill Kings Pod,
Uh-huh.
where we post all of the This Week in Arlen slides. So you can just kind of get a visual idea of what
Quick
we're
swipe.
talking about in my cute little slideshow.
Mhm.
What do we got next week?
Next week we have episode 16 of season 2, Traffic Jam. I
Ooh.
believe we'll have a guest on this next one as long as we can get the scheduling to line up. But it's a very funny episode, very relevant to today. It's got a very big guest star, so
Oh, okay.
it's a pretty funny one. Traffic
Love to
Jam.
hear that.
I
I
think you're
am
gonna get a hoot out of it.
not familiar with this one, but excited to give it a watch.
Yeah.
And yeah, hopefully we have another guest. We're just cranking through this season.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Having a lot of fun. We're over the
coming up
halfway
on
point.
the end of it here pretty soon. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we will be back next week. Go and do all of that stuff that I said. Subscribe and
Mm-hmm.
rate us and do all of
Go
that nonsense. And
go get your American Ostrich Farm merch.
yes, and tell them we sent you because we want them to sponsor the show.
And when they ask who, tell them if you don't know, you can't afford it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Don't
And
tell them it
with
was us. We're
that,
shy.
and with that, we'll leave you for the week.
Oh,
Have a good one, babies.
bye. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers,
Daddy.
all the ostrich farmer fathers.
Hill Kings Podcast.
Woof.